Okay. My name is Nisrin Rauda Sharifa.
Okay, and my name is Anna Musali. So we are as the host, so we will accompany you in this competition. So, okay.
Okay. What do you think about this event?
I think this event is really great, and this event is so wonderful. And I wonder who will be the winner of this competition. Will be you and you, maybe. Can I ask something to you? Are you from SMA Rodatul Ulu, brother? No. I want to ask you something. Okay, no problem. Okay, and who will be the winner? Maybe let's start it because they look so excited.
Yes, of course.
Maybe how about if we start this event?
Okay.
Okay, come on.
Sebelum kita memulai acara lomba pada pagi hari ini, saya akan kembali membacakan peraturan lombanya. Yang pertama, durasi waktu pidato maksimal 10 menit. Peserta diberi waktu 2 menit untuk mempersiapkan diri. Yang kedua, peserta mempresentasikan pidatonya tanpa naskah. Yang ketiga, topik yang disampaikan tidak mengandung unsur-unsur sara dan atau pornografi. Yang keempat, dan lain-lain. Perlu kami ingatkan untuk penanda waktunya, bendera hijau, waktu dimulai, bendera kuning, waktu kurang 2 menit, dan yang terakhir bendera merah, waktu habis. Peserta harus segera menghentikan pidatonya. Untuk mempersingkat waktu, marilah kita mulai lomba pada pagi hari ini. This competition will be started by the participant.
Okay, and the first participant will be delivered by student from MA Negeri 3 Jombang, Religina Jayanti. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Now, I want you to picture how our ancestors dressed before they knew clothes. They only wore fabrics, didn't they? But it's not just a fabric. It's Indonesian batik. Moreover, in 2009, UNESCO designated our Indonesian batik as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. But now, if we think about it, what is the fate of this intangible heritage? Will it become an antique collection that always be neatly stored in the closet? So, what can we do as the younger generation to maintain our Indonesian batik? Ladies and gentlemen, by standing here, I'm standing my biggest honor to the judges of this competition. And good morning, everybody! So, before our ancestors know how to dress, they only wore a piece of fabric as a means of protection for their genitals. And the size was just around 1 span. Even before they found fabrics, they only wore protectors made from natural ingredients, such as leaves or tree bark, which we usually call koteka. And as time went by, after they had more knowledge, they wore bigger sheets of fabrics, which we now call berkain. By berkain, they cover more body parts, such as the chest, stomach, legs, and those are referred to as kamben. Especially, the kings at that era, who had better economic ability, wore much bigger sheets of fabrics. They also mix and match some traditional fabrics. The Indonesian batik as fashion, as worn by puppet characters. Then we entered to the Middle Ages. When invaders came to Indonesia, they influenced Indonesian fashion styles. Indigenous Indonesians, who had previously only worn traditional fabrics, began to recognize the advantages of sewing clothing. Colonials came and brought European fashion styles, like shirts, doublets, vests, hose, and trousers. So there was a cultural assimilation that caused Indonesians to start wearing kebaya, beskap, and surjan. But here, I have to highlight that there was one thing that our ancestors kept the authenticity of, our Indonesian batik. Now, let's take a look at the clothes of Sunan Pakubuwono X as an example. He wore beskap at the top and berkain at the bottom. Of course, this is the same as worn by the other kings. Then notice the Indonesian fashion styles in the early 19th century. In Budi Utomo era, we could find Sutomo, and the Stovia students were wearing authentic Indonesian clothing. Although they wore shirts and blazers as the top, they still retain the Indonesian batik as the bottom. Now, I want to ask you, how many times do we wear Indonesian batik? Alright, we might wear it every day as a uniform, but how often do we berkain? At special events, formal events, national events, or never? I understand very well that nowadays it's impossible for us to berkain in our daily life. We have to go to office or school and we're required to wear a uniform, right? And to maintain berkain culture in the midst of everyone who's dressed classy as the trend seems a bit outmoded, isn't it? So, for our daily activities, we dress according to the flow of globalization. We dress according to the latest Western, Korean, alternatives, and other modernization trends. But I still strongly believe that if all Indonesian youth do berkain in their daily life, it will be a great movement for the development of the original Indonesian fashion culture. So now I'm coming up with an essential question. Do we dress according to the original Indonesian culture? Ladies and gentlemen, as the younger generation, we have a big role in the development of arts and culture. And of course, the art of berkain reflects our true colors as Indonesians. If we pay attention to today's fashion trends, a lot of old styles have become more trendy, such as vintage, retro, or classics. So it can be said that the original Indonesian fashion culture has potential. It is highly possible for us to internalize berkain culture in this era. Remember the original Indonesian fashion culture in the early 19th century. Learn from Sutomo and friends, we can do berkain and we're free to wear any types of top that is fashionable right now. Here we have freedom of globalization to adapt foreign clothing. But aside from that, we still maintain our original fashion culture, berkain. So, what are the other reasons for us not to start internalizing berkain culture from within ourselves? Simply, let's berkain and go outside. Wear it to the public library, campus, town square, or any of your favorite places. Mix and match your own creation with traditional batik, then show it to everyone. And last but not least, I'm challenging everybody in this room to start berkain for one affair. I'm Lili Ginajanti from Mantri Jombang. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wow, this is a really amazing Regina Jayanti. Thank you very much.
Give applause, guys. Okay, and the next participant will be delivered by Vicky Pertama Jo from Mandua Gresik. Come on, show your best. Give applause.
I was surprised when I realized that most of my classmates become K-pop superfans who often do weird things. And this is the picture of it. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, have you also noticed your friends' behavior changes who are obsessed with Korean? Yes, I'm talking about the Korean wave. The loves not only make them listen to Korean music, but also imitate Korean fashion, eat Korean food, speak Korean language, and post K-pop stars photos on social media. And I'm sure that this Korean wave phenomenon is not just happening in Indonesia, but also worldwide. And this shows the success of Korea to promote their pop culture, either through music, dramas, dance, or movies in today's globalized world. I'm Vicky Permatajo from Mantu and now I'm going to deliver my speech about the importance of foreign languages to preserve indigenous culture in the globalized world. Ladies and gentlemen, globalization keeps everyone connected around the world. We all know that. Globalization makes the development of technology and science increasingly rapid that allows cultural exchanges throughout the world. But besides providing benefits, do you realize that globalization has also eroded the indigenous culture of a country, making it slowly disappear because it's not able to compete in the global space? If we look at today's children, they are all busy with their gadgets all day long, forgetting traditional games such as dakon, enclave, and others. And that's just a simple case that happened around us. There are many other Indonesian cultures such as indigenous languages, tradition, art, celebration, and so on that are threatened with the lack of attention of young generation as well as invasion of pop culture. This shows how low the youth's awareness of the diversity of Indonesian culture is, which make Indonesian culture vulnerable. The very authentic rap Ponorogo from East Java is claimed by another country as its cultural art. The song Solerang from Riau, which is very melodious and peaceful, is also claimed. Don't let our culture be exploited or claimed by foreign countries. So, will other cultures end up the same way? No, we won't let it. So what's next? Of course, as the successor generation, we need to strive to maintain and promote our indigenous culture worldwide, so that the world and our society can learn the uniqueness of our culture. Ladies and gentlemen, now we live in a time when learning and communicating are much easier. You can just sit on the couch with a cup of tea and learn language through apps, YouTube, or other platforms, while at the same time, you can introduce your culture through social media on your smartphones. Hasn't social media become the site most visited by many people? You can create a video about how to make a traditional food or how to play a traditional game in English. Foreign languages make us survive in the global community, and globalization makes it easier for culture to spread around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, in essence, foreign language is a crucial requirement to survive in this era of globalization. So when we want to acknowledge our property and promote it, we can't force people to listen in our way, but we must promote it in their way. Remember, when you are in Rome, be a Roman. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Vicky Permatajo.
And the next participant will be delivered by student from Mandua Gresik, Della Novianti. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have you ever seen a cultural exhibition in your area? Like folk dance, regional tradition, and historical sites? Ladies and gentlemen, do you know the shadow puppet song? It was a very traditional drama show. In fact, this is included by UNESCO Cultural Heritage, which shows that wayang kulit is very unique. But surprisingly, most of my friends didn't even have any slightest interest in watching it. It's so weird, right? This shows that the interest in Indonesian local culture, which actually very unique and interesting, has disappeared from the souls of the generation. If we let this continue, then the various culture that are passed on from generation to generation will disappear. How can we allow this? Therefore, we as an Indonesian citizen need to explore our country more so that we can to love and maintain what our country has. Ladies and gentlemen, I will classify my speech into points, and my first point is the challenge of Indonesian youth in dealing with Indonesians' cultural preservation. Second, effort of Gen Z to preserve Indonesian culture in globalized world. Let's start with first point. In an era of technology, the generation lives cultural and religious values. The values that are instilled in a child will also disappear following the flow of millennial generation. Young people and children really got to know more about Indonesia's traditional musical instrument and traditional dance. Maybe if you count the billions of teenagers in Indonesia, surely only a few can play traditional musical instrument. There are many factors that cause people to not know about Indonesian culture, such as first, Indonesian people don't want to explore our country. Like Papuan traditional clothes are called the koteka, they think that by using traditional clothes they don't look cool because the clothes only cover part of the body, even though they can wear long underwear to cover anything. Second, Indonesian people prefer foreign-made products. Everyone prefers to use Gucci bags products from France rather than using UMKM bags, even though the quality of UMKM bags is sometimes better and also cheaper of equivalent in world famous brand. Third, Gen Z preserve Korean things such as K-drama, K-pop, and Korean culture. The reason Gen Z preserve Korean things because they are in the hot age. There are several K-pop idols who also study Indonesian traditional dance like Saman dance. As an Indonesian who like Korean, we shouldn't forget about the culture that exists in Indonesia. Let's move to the second point. Currently, if we reintroduce traditional musical instrument and traditional dance to the Gen Z, they are certainly very foreign with traditional culture because they're more familiar with modern culture. Indonesia's diversity is an attraction for other nations from all over the world. As an Indonesia's generation, it is our duty to make Indonesia's culture stand out in the eyes of the world. They may not want to be a player in something that is as well known. We must to prove this by, first, introducing cultural diversity to the world. Among the countries in the world, Indonesia's is diversity of famous of arts and culture that spread from Sabang to Merauke. Indonesia's diversity is an attraction for other nations from all over the world. Second, exhibiting Indonesian's culture in international arena. Like students who study abroad, they can introduce Indonesian culture to friends, like maybe inviting friends from other countries to Indonesian's cultural festivals and so on. Third, raising awareness to preserve art and culture. Indeed, the awareness of preserve Indonesian art and culture will start from the generation of the nation, because on their shoulder there is great potential that can motivate various parties to maintain Indonesian art and culture. Indonesia's generation will to more explore what the culture exists in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end, we can conclude that in this era of globalization, it's a challenge for the generation to be wise and responsible for their own country's assets. Therefore, let's learn about our culture that exists in Indonesia and spread them to all corners of the country. And I'm Dala Novianti. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wow, that was really great, guys. Thank you so much.
Bentar. Oke, sebentar waktunya ya, mohon maaf. Nanti setelah pesertanya selesai, ya, maksudnya jangan langsung dipanggil dulu ya, biar kita fokus untuk menilai dulu ya. Pokoknya kita, kayak dikejar, gitu ya. Oke, nanti maksudnya dikasih timing 1 atau 2 menit bisa lah, oke. Oke, terima kasih.
Okay guys, next. So, the next participant will be delivered by a student from MAN 2 Gresik, Vika Permata Jo. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Social media can be more dangerous than the real world. Okay, let me tell you guys. I just got scammed. So, at a time, I was called by an unknown number, and I pick it up. Good morning, this is Rudy. And I remember that I have a distant relative named Rudy. Oh, Uncle Rudy, how are you? I called him Uncle. And I'm sure you guys know what happened next. He asked me to lend him money. So I told my family, and my father felt suspicious. He said, why didn't you just tell me directly? And I was like, don't know. And yeah, his number is different. We were almost deceived. That's why I said that social media can be more dangerous than the real world. Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, in this pandemic, it is undeniable that we spend more time with our phones. And now I'm sure that social media will become one of the centers of attention or priority that must be visited, right? Either Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, or others. And realize or not, we are easily exposed to negative sites every time we socialize on social media. Not only hoaxes, but also pornography, the spread of radicalism, to social jealousy that worsens mental conditions. I know that you guys definitely don't want to be deceived by the virtual world, right? That's why I'm going to share how you should be able to fortify yourself from those negative things. So ladies and gentlemen, the first step is develop your digital literacy. So ladies and gentlemen, digital literacy is knowledge and skills to use digital media in finding, evaluating, using, creating information and utilizing it in a healthy, wise, intelligent, careful, precise, and law-abiding manner. It's very clear, isn't it? I know that you can do anything on social media account. Anything. We all know that. But have you ever thought that your content will potentially harm other people? So this is what I mean by digital literacy goals. So we certainly want to see a digital space which is clean of negative contents. So one thing that we all need to do is wisely refine the information. I know that it's difficult to differentiate the true information and the hoax. Don't worry, I've also forwarded free internet information to my friends. But at least, let's leave it now. So if you have no idea if the information is true or a hoax, the first step you need to do is double check. So first, check the title. A hoax usually has a provocative title. And then, check the source, the figures, the authenticity of the photo. And the most accurate is to check from the official website of the Ministry of Communication and Information. You can check the authenticity of any information there. And now, the second step is optimize the use of social media for productivity. Ladies and gentlemen, social media provides us with a space to express ourselves creatively. Therefore, we shouldn't be afraid to show our talents. This is your chance to explore further. Isn't it becoming easier today to communicate with other people from all over the world? We found no limits. We can learn anything that we don't know. And the most important thing is that we can develop the skills we have. Like my friend, who won a silver medal in an Indonesian programming competition which was held online. He found the competition information from social media. And another friend used social media to make a social campaign of health protocols to fight against COVID-19. But not only online competition and social campaign, you can also take part in webinars, online courses, projects, and many more. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is undeniable that social media is a strong contributor in today's digital world. It's like a double-edged sword that can benefit or even can hurt the users. As Christian Lane said, technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. So there are only two choices for you. You control the social media, or the social media controls you. And now, you choose. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Vika. Wow. Okay, and the next speaker will be delivered by student from MAN 1 Malang, Maulida Rahmawati. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hamdan syukran lillah. The honorable juries and the audience, good morning. All praises is addressed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us blessing so that we can gather in the pleased occasions. Salawat and salam is always delivered to our prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because of him, we can live in light of the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, school is a place which has been existed from the old era up to now. I have a question to you all. What are the things that we learn in school? Yes, In school, we learn many things such as writing, reading, and counting. Besides all mentioned things, we also learn basic skills of life, such as respecting others, doing something right, being clean, and also school teaches us how to be a good person. Ladies and gentlemen, on these occasions, I want to specialize my speech, but the rule of school inform me a character regarding two main things. They are maintaining cleanliness and also staying away the student from drug abuse. Let's start with the first things. Cleanliness is something obligatory for human being to have healthy life. Cleanliness in school is taught from very early age. We still remember when we were in the kindergarten that our teacher always asked us to throw our garbage in dustbin. And up to now, we are using to throw our garbage in a dustbin, right? These actions are an example how school teaches us how to be a good person. Ladies and gentlemen, the second thing that I want to talk is about youth and healthy life. I want to focus especially about drug among teenagers. In 2018, the fact was released that 3 out of 10 junior high school are drug users. This is very worrying, right? Often do I think about how the next generation of Indonesia can compete in this global era while they're drug users. But I'm sure the school has a great influence to make the student to be good persons. And we all know the school always teach us not only about technical material such as writing, reading, and counting, but also in terms of forming a good morality. And nowadays, there are many positive programs proposed by school, such as conducting extracurricular, educating students about drug abuse, and also conducting religious programs. These actions are one of the ways to form a good morality for students. Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that school is a perfect place for students to explore their either aptitude or attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I can say in my speech. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wow, that was so great.
Yes.
Wah, kakak
Ya.
hari ini kok cantik banget sih?
Aduh, masa sih?
Kulitnya bersih, jernih,
Kak Hanum
putih
bisa
gitu.
saja.
Iya,
Masa?
benar. Lah, kemarin tuh loh aku lihat kakak kayak hitam gitu, kayak gimana gitu.
Aduh, jahat banget dikatain hitam.
Mungkin kakak suntik apa itu namanya operasi wajah ya mungkin. Perawatan ya.
Enggak.
Terus pakai apa itu, Kak?
Kanam tahu nggak?
Ya.
Saya ini biasanya perawatan loh.
Perawatan gimana itu, Kak?
Saya biasanya perawatan di klinik kecantikan My Anala.
Oh, My Anala. Oh, jadi My Anala yang udah viral di TikTok, di Instagram itu ya, Kak ya?
Bener sekali.
Oh, jadi itu My Anala. Apa itu, Kak? My Anala itu, Kak?
Aduh, ngomong terkenal kok nggak tahu My Anala apa?
Saya
Sini
cuma
Kanam,
dengar-dengar
aku
aja,
jelasin.
gitu loh.
My Anala ini klinik kecantikan loh. Buat kita merawat kulit wajah biar cantik.
Oh, kalau laki-laki bisa nggak, Kak? Kira-kira, Kak?
Kenapa kok nggak bisa? Ya pasti bisa lah.
Kan biasanya perawatan itu kan perempuan gitu loh.
Ya nggak harus cuma perempuan, kan sekarang laki-laki juga bisa perawatan.
Oh, mungkin mau nyoba aja ya saya. Tapi enggak lah, mahal mungkin.
Kok mahal sih? My Anala klinik kecantikan ini harganya sangat terjangkau.
sangat
Buat
terjangkau,
kantong-kantong
wow.
kayak pelajar kayak kita, kayak mahasiswa kayak kita.
Wow, gitu ya. Oke deh, aku coba deh habis ini mungkin.
Iya, mungkin
oke.
kakak-kakak di sini atau adik-adik mau coba klinik kecantikan, kami di bawah menyediakan booth kecantikan dari My Anala. Banyak sekali loh Kak Anam penawarannya, dari buy one get one. Ada berhadiah juga. Ayo deh nanti dicoba ya.
Oke.
Oke.
Di alamat mana itu Kak?
Alamatnya di mana ya? Sebentar saya ingat dulu ya. Alamatnya di Jalan Panjaitan nomor 77 Gondang Legi.
Oh, Gondang Legi.
Gondang Legi Kulon.
Oh, pasar ke mana itu? Ke
Iya benar sekali.
Oh iya.
Oke.
Oke guys. Oke.
Next to
Bisa
the next
dilanjutkan?
participant.
Oke. Oh, lupa teks di situ.
Gimana Kak Anam ini?
Okay, and the next participant will be delivered by student from MAN 1 Malang, Nadifa Agista. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The honorable judges, committee, and all participants of the speech contest. Before I start my speech, I would like to thank to Allah who has given us mercy and blessing so we can meet together in the pleasing place. And second, salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad SAW who has brought us from the darkness to the brightness. Hello everyone, my name is Nadifa Agista. It's great honor for me to stand here and give speech entitled Challenge for Gen Z to be a good Muslim in this modern era. Ladies and gentlemen, does anyone here belong to Generation Z or Gen Z? Well, if you are still confused, the Generation Z is a population group born from around 1996 to 2010. Until now, the Generation Z is still the generation with a huge number to compare to the previous generation. Now, because the quantity of Gen Z is already far more than previous generation, in the next few years, the job will be dominated by the Gen Z. The next previous generation will be dominated by the Gen Z. The job field will be dominated by the Gen Z. Yet, that doesn't mean easier for us to find more. It is an enormous challenge for us. One of the factors is fueling this emergent digital disruption or disruptive era. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be easier. I give example like this. We are used to hear the Netflix or watching movies in the platform, right? So, does the Netflix have theater equipment? And the transportation. The Gojek, Grab, Maxim have their own the Gojek, Grab, Maxim have their own motorcycle and car products? No, of course not. Then, how can people bring the transport and the driver only through a smartphone? Ladies and gentlemen, then, how can people bring challenge for us? Ladies and gentlemen, now the conveniences that I have mentioned is digital disruption. Next, the digital disruption is disturbance that arises due to the advance of the technology. Vast analytic data, robotic, the Internet of Things, and all analytic data, robotic, and all new software and virus industry. Now, then let's talk about what can the digital disruption can challenge for Gen Z to be a Muslim? Here, the answer. Because it says we can spread Islamic value to grow Islamic character by using the technology or digital application. Currently, we can see many ustad or ustadah to using the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and other social media to spread the dakwah, to spread Islamic value. My brother and sister, a Janzi was for the continual increase in science and technology. We must be able to take advantage of the technology and social media and to spread information about Islamic way of life. On other side, we can still find many Muslim youth doing the bad things such as browsing or watching about pornography, spreading hoax information, and consumerism through online trading. To overcome this problem, I think it would be better for us to joining the organization or institution in which we can learn and spread up about Islamic value to other people. And go to the spread Islamic by our personality. My brother and sister, you can explore it from what is in your hand. So, let's make best use the technology together, especially to foster Islamic culture and character. Therefore, we can make the disruptive era be better. Thank you for attention today. Stay safe, stay healthy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much. Okay, and the next participant will be delivered by student from SMA Raudatul Ulum Gondang Legi. We call Muhammad. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Excellency, the head of education program, Mr. Pudu Kuswara, MPD. Honorable the chief executives and judges, respectable all my friends, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's pray to our God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for giving us the mercies and blessings to attend this in a good condition and happy situation. Second, may peace and salvation to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the last messenger of God who guided us from darkness to brightness, from stupidity to cleverness, namely Islamic religion. Now, before I tell you the speech, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad. I am the representative of our senior high school, Raudatul Ulum. I come from Mecca, and now I live in Indonesia with my older sister. Now, the internet, the social media, the place where you find curiosity or curiosity finds you. The magical place where where the wilderness of the unknown, where you find, yeah. When I was a child, I have a mind full of curiosity. I used to ask questions more than I can answer, and I was born in an environment, I wasn't poor nor rich. I was very much a little bit simple. My parents has been working very hard for me and my little sister to make us very healthy. And one day, when my parents has saved enough money to buy our first ever laptop, to not for only the benefit of our entertainment, but also to help us learn and grow our smartness more bigger and bigger. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my first phase of my internet knowledge. When I first got my hand on that laptop, I was full-blown confused. The only major reason why I got that I use the laptop in the first place is that because I heard that I watched SpongeBob and that's it. That's all I wanted. But I find myself watching other things than just a walking, talking, funny sponge. I used to watch videos on YouTube of people talking about video games and play video games. And their content is very much simple, but still, the thing is, I can't help but love them so much because their personality, their character, their charm, I can't help but love them because they put so much effort at what they're saying, and that's what makes me love them. And I can't help but wonder at what they're saying to understand them. So I asked my mother and my older brother to translate what they're saying so that I can understand what they're saying. I just can't just watch them and they speak the language that I don't understand. Mind you, I only speak one language, and it's Arabic. That's all. And I would say without them, I would have gone my first checkpoint. Years and years have gone by, and I was finally ready to embrace myself as an English speaker. In middle school, I was so good with English that almost everyone in my school wanted to ask me how did I learn English very well. And I can't just sit around the cafeteria and then eat on my sandwich without some kid telling me, hey, how did you know English very well? Oh, how can I be like you? Etc., etc. And I just stand up, look at them in the eye and say, watch YouTube, and then walk away. And even though I had everything, I simply couldn't see it. I developed having a midlife crisis. Even at a young age, it was very terrifying. I used to ask myself, do I have a purpose of life? Do I have a thing of everyone? Am I a burden? Or am I just a wall of my family that they have to keep rebuilt? But around that time, around like 2 or 3 months, and you may ask, how did I keep those words at bay, you may ask? Well, I go back simply and watch YouTube again. I know it sounds very unhealthy, but around that time, I never had friends nor anyone so I can express my feelings. I never had anyone that I can talk to. Even my parents, I wanted them to understand, but I never wanted to want them to slow down because they had a little troubles with feelings. They had a little bit of a weak heart. And when I go back and watch my favorite YouTubers, my favorite videos, it helps me, eases me a little bit. And that's around 2 or 3 months later when I found my truest purpose of life. My school had this field trip where they invite six students from our school to come to another school so that they can review by the headmasters, and they ask questions about history of Islamic and history about Makkah, who also know English very well. And I was one of those lucky students. I was invited to this big school. It wasn't as big as this one, nor as the other one as attending. It was big, anyhow. And I was sent to this small classroom where I was greeted by the headmasters. And I was a little bit nervous, and I'll be honest, because this is my first time I was greeted by someone who has leveled English as good as I am. And my nerves were proven valid because their accent is so good that I've almost tripped down with my words. Anyhow, they asked me questions, I answered them, and I just finished. And you might ask, why did I say this story in the first place? Well, in short, so I cannot waste your time, I'm sorry. My teacher has ended up recording me without me noticing. And he ended up posting of me talking to the headmasters in Twitter. It didn't garner a very much like, but still, it was something. It was very something. It gave me a little bit of boost in my life. Therefore, I can take a common thread from my personal life. The internet is a fast communication technology can be facilitated between one place and another. A social interaction can be established by using the internet, social networking media such as Twitter, Facebook, and other kind of communities to interact more easily. And social promotion is no stranger to the benefits of the internet. So fundraising and social purposes are often been done through a lot on the internet. Such as, for example, for fundraising to fight wars, for example, and fundraising and social purposes for those natural disasters. By using all those information, by using the social Google engine, Google, Yahoo, and others, it's to interact more easily in information. So I would say without the internet, I wouldn't have gone past I wouldn't have the chance to stand on this stage speaking to you. So that's all for my speech, more or less. Thank you so much. Thank you for the ESA'S anniversary, the 7th ESA'S anniversary. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wow, Kak Anam.
Wow,
Muhammad,
that was really great.
really great.
I was
Muhammad,
so
you
shocked
look
to look you.
cool and cute at the same time.
Because the pronunciation is really different
Really different.
than others. The pronunciation is like Arabic or Indian accent, different as usual. Okay, great.
Kak Anam, saya kira peserta kita ini cuma Semalang Raya loh.
Iya.
Lah iya, ternyata ada yang dari Makkah.
Ada yang dari Mekah.
Internasional
Subhanallah,
ya.
Arabic.
Masya Allah.
Masya Allah, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Okay, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'il mursalin. Next. Okay, the next participant will be delivered by student from SMA Modern Al-Rifai. We call Syafiqah Billy Ismail. Come on, give applause.
Nowadays, people are sharing their ideas and experience all across the world. This is what makes people from one side of the globe to another to be connected to each other. And this is also what we call as global culture, where ideas are not shared mutually but also then overlap countless ways. And we, as the next generation who live in this technological era, are one of the agents that allow the spread of culture to happen around the world, along with our potentials. Now, some of you might be thinking, what is a potential? Or how do you develop it? And how does our potential actually help us do this spread of culture around the world? Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I would like to say my respect and thank you to the judges and the committee of this event, and also for all the audiences. Let us say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin for the grace and blessings that Allah, the Almighty God, has given to us today. So before we go further, let me introduce myself. My name is Syafiqah Bel Ismail from the Modern Senior High School of Al-Rifai. So ladies and gentlemen, when we look at the definition for potential in the Oxford Dictionary, it is defined as having or showing the capacity to develop into something in the future. Potential doesn't necessarily come physically, but rather in a form of emotions that fosters hope for something. Potentials could be manifested in many ways. It is not specifically tied to age or place, but is driven by passion. This passion can come from many ways as well. It could come from academics like math, science, English, also non-academics, like sports, technology or IT, also arts. This means that every child, every teenager has got different potentials within themselves, which deserve to be nurtured or developed. The two most powerful weapons for developing potential are willpower and strong determination. Now, I want you all to imagine on what will happen if every child, every teenager in here realized what their potential is and they wanted to develop it. Because I think that they will be able to create and achieve something extraordinary, something incredible. So, after listening to the explanations and the definitions of potentials, there are 4 essential points that comes from under it, and it's power, ability, development, and hope for the future. Power in this context means having control in a specific field, while ability also means talent. Development means nurturing, progressing, and achieving something, while hope for the future means prospective opportunity where the outcomes of a developed potentials are seen. So now that we all have a similar understanding about this, I want to ask something. Why do some of us still fail to realize, to appreciate the potentials that kids and teenagers have? In a lot of cases, it's because people often forgot about one important fact, and that is, they forgot that every kid, every teenager, every child has got different potential within themselves, and they're competent in different areas. So, say one child is more creative than the other one, but the other one is much more better at problem solving. One child could have been a natural leader, while the other one could have been a quiet thinker. So the solution for this problem is not to only recognize their potential, but to also help them develop it to the full maximum. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like it is our role as the next generation, the young generation, to develop our potential by finding what our passion is, by improving our personalities, by having strong determination for self-improvement. It's okay for us to be more ambitious on achieving our goals sometimes, because who knows, your effort on achieving this goal might cause something incredible, might cause something very big that could have helped all of us in the future. Moreover, if you're now are not concerned with your surroundings, then we should start caring more about it by either giving respect to others or giving more awareness to help. So I want to ask, I see you usually use social media just to scroll in for your boredom. But instead, let's use social media to find facts, to find information, to find news about our surroundings, to know what we can do to help. Having our potential used for something positive, or in other words, creativity, is one of the 16 competencies that should be acquired in the 21st century. In fact, according to UNESCO, creativity is the core for the sustainable development of societies, which includes innovation, entrepreneurship, as well as leadership. To add in about culture and creativity have become an agenda for the Sustainable Development Programs or goals, or we call it SDGs. These are part of an ongoing story that emphasizes the role of creativity and the role of culture as a turnkey to the economic sector, along with the other positive impact bonuses. So now, let's look at creativity, maximize its potential to shape the world, and harness it. Harness the potential for innovation and other positive returns. It's either for our future or for our world. So ladies and gentlemen, all in all of us in here have got potentials within us. It all depends on how we consistently and persistently develop it to make something incredible, to make something extraordinary for our world. We could make a big change for our world if we want to work hard for it, if we have the effort for it. Some closing words for me is, I strongly believe that if every child, every teenager are given the right chance, the right tools to develop their potentials, they will be able to succeed beyond their wildest dreams and expectation. And I feel that's all for me today. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry if there's any mistakes on my wordings or my behavior. Once again, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. Okay, the next participant will be delivered by student from SMK Widya Dharma Turen, Firhan Fahamza. Give applause.
Hello everyone. First of all, let us say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, which has given guidance and blessing to us. Therefore, we can gather here to celebrate 7th ESA'S anniversary. Our salawat and salam are always delivered to our great Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us from darkness to light. The honorables, judges, and colleagues, and the honorables, committees, and the happy audience. Before I start, it's a good idea to say salam first. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Firhan Hamza. People call me Firhan. I'm 17 years old now, and I'm a 12th grader majoring in accounting at the Widya Dharma Vocational High School, Turen. I think that's enough about self-introduction. It's an honor for me to have opportunity to deliver my speech, but the theme is Indonesian culture in the globalized world. At this time, the audience may already know or understand what I will convey. Yeah, batik. What comes to your mind when the word batik comes up? Something very Indonesian, isn't it? Or maybe about kalongan or even formal wear. There is nothing wrong with that. So here I will define what batik is and its philosophy. Batik is the work of the Indonesian people, which is a blend of art and technology by the ancestor of Indonesian people. Batik can develop to an incomparable level both in design or motif and process. The quote is the official definition coined by the Ministry of Industry. Meanwhile, according to my personal view, batik is a two-dimensional, in the typical of Indonesian motif, work of art that has aesthetic and practical values created from people's habit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after knowing the definition of batik, I will discuss one of the unique facts that most people don't know. I guess if I have explained the definition of batik, then where does the word batik come from? The word batik turns out to have an acronym. Do you know it, guys? The word batik, they're called amba and nitik. Both words come from Japanese. Amba means describe that batik is in the typical of Indonesian motif that has cloth, then that stretched and then processed. Then nitik, which means that batik can be made by very beginning, namely nitik, or giving dots and then becoming lines, patterns, and motif. then it may be known together that batik is one of the Indonesian culture that is known globally. UNESCO itself established batik as masterpieces of the oral and the intangible heritage of humanity on 2 October 2009, which on the date 2 October was commemorated as the National Batik Day. UNESCO considered that batik is inherent in the life of Indian people. Batik itself cannot be separated from the influence of culture outside Indonesia, such as Arabic, Indian, and Chinese. Some of the popular batik motifs include the parang motif, which is spread on island of Java, Megamendung from Cirebon, and kawung from Central Java. Like what I'm using. My cloth has a fauna motif and the udeng has a typical motif Patra Punggal from Bali. Ladies and gentlemen, batik began to be known to the world in the 80s. This started from the policy of the governor of DKI Jakarta, Ali Sadikin, who set batik as the official clothing for men in DKI. This seemed to be an enthusiasm and inspiration to second president of Indonesia at the time, Mr. Soeharto, set batik as official clothing for Mr. Soeharto set batik as official clothing for civil servant when on duty, or often called corporal. Soeharto step did not stop there. There was a conference or meeting with other countries. Soeharto often used batik as his clothes. Then Soeharto also gives souvenir in the form of batik Soeharto also gives souvenir in the form of batik to guests from other countries, such as Nelson Mandela and Ronald Reagan. Ladies and gentlemen, currently batik is widely known to anyone who uses it, whether it's children, teenagers, adult, or elderly. Whether it's children, teenagers, whether in casual, semi-formal, and formal event. This cannot be separated from the role of introducing batik in the past. Some public figures also use it as an introduction in Indonesian culture to the international arena, such as Maudy Ayunda, who used batik when she graduated from the Stanford University Master Programs, and Agnes Mo, who used batik on the video clip Coke Bottle and Long as I Get Paid. Although batik can be used by anyone and from any circle, my message to teenagers: let's preserve culture by using batik. To introduce Indonesian culture in global level. Batik is cool, batik is good, and batik is amazing. I think that's all a speech that I can deliver. Ideally, what I have said is gainful for us. Thank you for your nice attention. Thank you for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Firhan Fahamza. The next participant will be delivered by student from LPBA Nurul Jadid, Akbar Akil Azali. Give applause.
Cek.
Hi, dude. Firstly, I'm gonna be telling you something. In my past life story, I and all my friends used to have the happiest moment that could not even stop to always stuck in our memory for lifelong. Running after a flying kite, playing marbles under hot temperature of sun, and swimming in the river from dusk till dawn are unforgettable memory for the rest of our story. To me personally, it seems like only yesterday I can fully feel it all. Because today, all of them spend all the days to be obsessed over social media in 24/7. In short, globalization has suddenly wrapped them by my side in one tragic manner. And here is the saddest thing. Finally, they'll leave me and my broken heart by the moment. Well, I'm Akbar Kilazari and I just bring my past life story to show you the reality that our traditional culture is going to fade away and disappear day to day if there is no people who care enough to take action. So, in my speech today, I will mainly invite you to hear the unheard and see the unseen things exist in our country. And I put 3 consecutive points for you to concern. First, I will tell you how globalization affects the value of our traditional culture. Second, I will tell you what we should actually do to strengthen the identity of our traditional culture. And third, I will tell you why young generation must take action to cope and deal with the problem. Okay, in the very first case, the fact finding shows us that the rapid development of technology has already carried every single people to the world of digitalization, in which now every people in every part of the world are globally connected. But then, what happens today is, not only material and merit can reach another country, but norms, pattern to consume something, lifestyle, orientation, even culture can also be acculturated by the people in that nation. Therefore, a massive social change is unavoidable to be accepted by society and to give any new challenges for every country. This is what everyone calls in simple, globalization. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, the euphoria of people to fanatically consume over Western culture has already driven themselves and whomsoever inhabitant into having a heavy amnesia against culture belonging. Set one clear example. TikTok, Hollywood movie, and Mobile Legends are now replacing ludruk, puppet, and batik as our traditional culture from almost 80% of most favorite choices amid dominant societies. As this less care and poor treatment sense of society, it's been enough to cry over the truth that our cultures really feel suffering in the long and difficult semi-dying. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and the honorable judges, take action, because we always have no right to rely on the blames against something goes wrong inside our society. To survive this crisis, society's sense of belonging has to be awakened back by manipulating culture to unite people in a particular life of them, such in school. As the center house of education, school must play its own role to introduce culture as the wealth of nation to students for their better perception. Take the open example. Organizing culture festival, conducting puppet performance, or even holding traditional dance fashion show. Hence, remember, no culture can live if it attempts to be exclusive. Or ladies and gentlemen, in better way, we have to take control the globalization, adjust with the technology positivity to feed up the communal taste of modern society. Because through the world of digitalization, assimilating and modifying traditional culture with modern style can be an alternative movement to provide more interesting innovation. Such as, do you know about Lati that is made by Wergenius, or the Spirit of Papua video that is created by Alfiref? If you know, this kind of creative video combines the collaboration of electronic dance music and show us about our culture. It will open chance to encourage bigger people to recognize and love deeper toward their own culture. Hence, wise man ever once said, the more culture is introduced, the more people are curious. After all, for which truly comes as real, we and our nation once more are asking for a movement done by our young generation. Because every time the history wrote itself, young people must always be the very first actor who can cope every worst thing to happen and lead betterment to come around. In their hand, their characteristic as the generation, social control and agent of change can be trusted as always. I believe in the power of change, that they can omit the distance between people and their own culture in one part of them as nation. In summary, this crisis calls every young generation to take active movement for fixing the broken love of society toward their identity. Well, the honorable judges and all audiences, all in one, our culture is our fixed price. No matter how even valuable gold is for us, culture must never be replaceable from our greatest pride. Now, we are trusted with huge responsibility to keep what we have to keep today, because there are 2 days that we cannot do anything and rig it for everything. Yesterday and tomorrow. It means culture is something precious that should never be forgotten, but given long-lasting dedication. At last, my love for culture is a journey starting at forever and ending at never. Thank you.
Give applause.
Kak, bentar.
Iya.
Nah, ini baju kita ini, seragam kita ini pesennya di mana ya? Rasanya itu kayaknya itu bagus gitu, hangat dan juga wow pokoknya gitu loh.
Ya,
Iya.
jelas dong Kak Anam. Lihat. Bagus kan? Dari
Bagus.
bordirnya
Nah,
rapi banget.
kemarin itu aku pesen di mana gitu, di daerah Malangan sini lah. Kok tidak sesuai gitu loh. Kayak ada berat-beratnya gitu, Kak. Cepat bulatnya gitu, iya.
Iya, pasti Kak Anam konveksinya lain kan. Lihat,
Iya.
bordirnya bagus kan?
Wow, bagus, warnanya juga bagus,
Jahitannya
halus
bagus,
gitu.
simetris banget.
Wow,
Ini
juga estetik juga ya.
Oh iya, tentu banget.
Wow.
Iya.
Jadi itu di mana, Pak?
Ini kami dari konveksinya udah langganan banget. Kita konveksinya di Cyclot Malang.
Oh iya.
Kita udah langganan lama banget, masa nggak tahu sih Mas Anam?
Oh iya. Oh di situ, di mana itu?
Ada di Jalan Panjaitan juga, di Gonalgi Kulon.
Oh di jalan, berarti dekat ya Kak ya?
Oh dekat sekali, makanya kita langganan udah lama. Karena selain deket emang bagus.
Oke.
Oke.
Kalau dari harga mahal apa enggak Kak? Ya.
Gak mahal.
Gak mahal ya?
Gak mahal, buktinya kita langganan udah lama kan?
Oh iya Kak.
Iya.
Ya udah, kita coba aja ya nanti ya.
Oke. Oke,
Bagus
kayaknya
banget loh.
udah deh, kayaknya kita kebanyakan bicara.
Oh,
Pesertanya
oke.
udah nungguin.
Oke.
Oke.
Okay, and the next participant will be delivered by student from MA Raudatul Ulum 2. The name is Azahra Kutrunada. Give applause.
Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina wa maulana Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, amma ba'd. The Honorable all juries, the Honorable all lecture, and the Honorable all audience. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us goodness, happiness, healthy, and mercy. So, we can attend and participate in this special event without any obstacles. Praise and salutation upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who have brought us to the path of light from the darkness in this life. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Azahra Qasrunada. On this occasion, let me give a speech about be a creative teenagers with achievement in facing global culture. Ladies and gentlemen, creative thinking is a vital life skill which enables us to imagine, innovate, and respond to unexpected or changing situations. Over the last few months, we have all had to get creative in the way we work and learn in light of the global pandemic. Now, more than ever, we can see the importance of encouraging our creative thinking. I find that cultures are not more or less creative than one another. Rather, their cultural values and their enforcement through norm determine whether a culture leads its creativity to creative skills, task motivation, or the mind. Ladies and gentlemen, why creative teenagers in facing global culture important? Why important? Because creativity is that element in human existence that allows for change and transformation, enabling both continuity and adaptability. Music, dance, and art, language, storytelling, theater, and poetry all play a key role in the maintenance of biocultural diversity around the world. And why teenagers? Because Sukarno said, "Give me 1,000 parents, so I will push Semeru mountain until the root. But if you give me 10 teenagers, so I will shake the world." And in the Holy Al-Quran, Surah An-Nisa, number 9. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وليخشى الذين لو تركوا من خلفهم ذرية ضعافا خافوا عليهم فليتقوا الله وليقولوا قولا سديدا صدق الله العظيم. And let fear if those who from the left behind weak offspring, and they what have feared. So let them about fear Allah. So let them fear about them Allah and let them speak appropriate words. Ladies and gentlemen, if we have a strong desire from the heart, then the whole universe will work together to make it happen. So, we all teenagers must increase creativity in our country because in new era and technology it's amazing and teenagers is the right person. God will never change the fate of nation before the people do their destiny. Okay friends, maybe enough speech to me and I'm so sorry. Thank you very much, that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. Okay, the next participant will be delivered by student from MA Al-Aziz, Rafael Sabrina El-Layali. Give applause.
Honorable judges, committee, and all my friends, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, I would like to thank to the Almighty God. It is because of Him I'm able to participate in the English speech contest that is held by Al-QOLAM Institute of Islam on the event of the 7th ESA'S anniversary. And also I would like to thank to the judges, committee, and my school for giving me this special opportunity to compete in this contest. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rafael Sabrina El-Layali from Al-Aziz New York High School, and I'm standing here to deliver my speech. I hope you feel as amazing as I am right now, because I want to tell you about facing challenge in the modernization era so as to be a good Muslim. Ladies and gentlemen, as a Muslim, seeking knowledge is absolute law. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad SAW advises to seek knowledge to the land of China. As stated in the Quran, "O you who believe, when it is high to you, give space in the assemblies, then make room for it. Surely Allah will provide spaciousness for you. And when it is tight, stand up, then stand up. Allah will raise the grace those who believe among you, and those who are given knowledge by several degrees. And Allah is all aware of what you do." Quran Surah Al-Mujadilah, verse 11. This proves that knowledge possessed by Allah SWT is very broad. In fact, seeking knowledge is worship and has been said in the Quran. Ladies and gentlemen, with this knowledge, the technology we know today was born. Technology exists to make human work easier, and this is lawful and permissible in Islam. For example, computer and smartphones, which is widely used by people today for communication, work, and so on. Then there are any robots which are modern technology to care for the elderly. One thing is for sure, today is the modern era where technological developments are growing rapidly at this time. If as Muslims stop studying, we will be able to us because can be left behind by other countries. This country will be very vulnerable to be colonized, not colonized with firearms as before, but colonized in a new form using modern equipment. Along with the developments of specification in technology, information, and communication in today's modern era, it has created various changes that are felt by everyone, so that it has a positive or negative impact. Technology in the modern era gives rise to a number of adverse negative impacts such as cybercrime, hoax, pornography, gambling, fraud, and many others. Ladies and gentlemen, as a Muslim, how do we face the challenge of modernization? Islam is a religion that is considered as rahmatan lil alamin, meaning a mercy for all nature. The majority of Indonesia's population adheres to Islam, which amounts to more than 80%. Islam taught by the Prophet Muhammad, of course, has changed from time to time, especially in modern times like now. The existence of modernization challenges requires Muslims to hold fast to the teachings of the Quran and Hadith. According to the Islam, there are several ways that we can survive today's modern challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, the first way that must be done is to build a religious foundation as strong as possible for every ummah through education in the family. If you already have a strong foundation, modernization will not shake confidence in each other. The second is using technological sophistication within reasonable limits and according to Islamic recommendations. The era of the Prophet passed with the limit, especially in the field of technology. The existence of smartphones to the internet causes many challenges that also affect the teachings of Islam. So that every Muslim is not easily dragged away. For example, if you have social media, then use it for preaching, building friendships, and for reading the Quran. Ladies and gentlemen, modernization that occurs will make the world look more different because every Muslim can see what is happening in all parts of the world. Therefore, let's protect Islam against modernization by increasing tolerance for anyone, strengthening the iman, increasing knowledge, and use technology properly and fairly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for my speech. I hope you can learn something new from it and want to take advantage of it. Thanks for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Benin. Welcome. Okay, and the next participant will be delivered by a student from SMA Negeri 1 Bantur. The name is Fatihatur Rahma. Come on, show yourself. Give applause.
The honorable judges, respect the audience, and everyone here today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, I'm Fatihatur Rahma. I'm from Senior High School 1 Bantur. I'd like to ask your attention to deliver my speech about why social media and internet as things to develop our growth. First of all, I'd like to thank the Almighty God. Because of Him, we are all able to attend this event. Secondly, may salawat and salam always to be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad, who had brought us from the darkness to this bright modern era that we live in today. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the judges for giving me a very special opportunity to complete in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, internet and social media are two things that can be separated from our lives. These two things are needed by us without exceptions, parents, children, and teenagers. I'll make the internet and social media a very important role for our people. Overall, these two things act as informants and a means for the entertainment for our circles. For example, for students, currently, learning not only with boring thick books, but students can learn easily just by sliding their cell phone screens. The information provided is also the same, even more complete than the thick book we usually find in the library. And also it's faster to find any information accurately. Learning becomes easier, more effective, and efficient. It's one of the many benefits of social media and internet for our lives. However, as good as technology, is there always be bad effect if used excessively. A clear example of this bad effect is that there is a student who has been playing a video game that has been popular lately for 3 days non-stop. His parents were worried about the student's conditions, and by the time his parents checked him in the room, the student was already of thirst eyeballs, and his hand continued to move uncontrollably as if he was still playing a video game. What the effect of using internet excessively? Ladies and gentlemen, it's very dangerous for the young. His future is just ruined. Adverse things also often occur in social media, such as fraud, bullying, and other judgmental things. The
internet and social media are very influential for development of our growth. Therefore, we must have a policy in using internet and social media. Ladies and gentlemen, I will say something before ending my speech. Be wise, use technology sparingly. Don't let technology harm you. That's all my speech. Thank you for your attention. Sorry if I made a mistake and offensive sentence to you all. I'm Fatihatul Rahmah, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah, waridha wal inayah, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wow, the sensation is great. Kak. Nah, ini mau nanya ini.
Apalagi Kak
Jadi
Anam?
apa? Jadi kulit saya itu di wajahku itu kayak kusam, berminyak, kering gitu. Cara mengatasinya gimana ya, Kak?
Gimana?
Kulitku itu kayak gimana ya? Kayak berminyak, gatal dan kering segala macam lah, kayak banyak jerawatnya gitu.
Iya.
Jadi pas kuliah tuh gak pede gitu. Gimana ya?
Gak pede ya? Coba saya mau tanya sekarang, Kak Anam pakai skincare nggak?
Ya enggak lah, laki-laki kok pakai skincare.
Loh, jangan salah Kak Anam.
Nah gimana?
Sekarang udah banyak banget produk skincare buat cowok.
Enggak lah, masa cowok pakai skincare?
Gak percaya. Sekarang ada. Aku rekomendasiin ya buat Kak Anam.
Iya.
Ada yang namanya Nolan Serum.
Nolan Serum. Lah Nolan Serum itu apa, Kak?
Nolan Serum itu skincare yang dikhususkan untuk cowok. Tuh kan, ada kan? Sekarang
ada yang khusus
jangan,
cowok?
iya. Sekarang jangan apa ya, cowok-cowok sekarang tuh harus lebih peduli gitu loh.
Obat yang bisul-bisul kayak melendung gitu bisa ya, Kak ya?
Bisa, kamu mau yang kayak gimana bisa, mau yang glowing, shimmering, splendid bisa.
Mantap.
Iya.
Soal harganya terjangkau enggak?
Ya kalau harga sih ya tergantung ya, ada harga, ada barang.
Gitu ya, Kak ya?
Iya.
Ya udah deh. Next saja. Okay, and the next participant will be delivered by student from SMA Nasional Malang, Fatiha Naila. Give applause.
Come on.
The Honorable to all judges and the committee of ESA'S 7th anniversary, the respectable to all participants and audiences. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, let us deliver our gratitude and praises to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for all the grace and blessing so we can attend and participate in this contest without any obstacle. Secondly, may salawat and salam always be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness to this bright modern era that we are living today. The last but not least, I'd like to express my thankful to judges for giving me this very special opportunity to compete this contest. Well, good morning everyone. My name is Fatiha Naila from SMA Nasional Malang. I hope you all are feeling as amazing as I'm right now. Though, to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. But I'm not going to tell you what I'm feeling. Instead, I will tell you about a small observation that I made around my environment. Based on the findings, we can take some important points to be our basis as the teenager in facing global culture. Ladies and gentlemen, are you curious with my story? Well, let's start my story. I have a neighbor named Bu Ja. She is a fried rice vendor. Her business is cutting down, especially on long pandemic era. She can develop her business through digital media. As we know, on this millennial era, trading goods is very close to the use of smartphone and social media to promote our products. So, I observe that the problems happen because Bu Ja does not have any willingness and good ability to use technology as the media for the promotion. Consequently, her business is stagnant on pandemic era. From the result of my observation that I mentioned before, see how creativity and innovation are really needed to push our business up in order to attract the buyer's attention. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember the quote from Edward de Bono. Listen, he said, "There is no doubt that creativity is the most important human resource of all. Without creativity, there would be no progress, and we would be forever repeating the same patterns." So guys, the key word is creativity. The world has progressed so far due to the power of human creativity. Revolution 5.0 has changed everything. Technology, education, artificial intelligence, industry, business, and much more sectors have changed into digital era. Now, the question is, can we survive? Can we survive, guys? What do you think of it? Yes, should be. And what makes us different? The answer is being creative. Being creative means being different from the others. Being creative means we must be equipped by experience and soft skill. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you some tips and tricks regarding to be creative in facing global culture. First, start from recognizing our interests. It may not be easy for us to determine one thing that we really like. Try to find some of the things that we like the most and want to do all the time. This method can help us to find the hidden talent in ourselves. In addition, as young people in productive age, we must be able to determine the vision we want to achieve in the future with the SMART principle. Remember guys, SMART. S stands for specific, M measurable, A achievable, R reasonable, and T time-based. Furthermore, we have been facilitated by the advanced technology that will ease us a lot. Second, look at the future prospects. If you are a person who has many interest abilities, you can see it from future prospects. In the next few years, what skills are needed a lot? Then we can start learning those skills. Be brave to open your mind from your inside. You will have a lot to learn about the changes and development that exist. Show sensitivity and concern for existing innovation. Open your mind to always care about what is happening around you, ranging from political, economic, social, and cultural issues. Don't take everything you get for granted, guys. Cultivate them by using your ability to think critically so that you can sort out the hoaxes and the facts. Third, be focused. Please stop comparing ourselves with others because we will waste our time, which we can actually do to enrich ourselves, both in terms of material and insight. Focus on our own abilities. Try to know ourselves better because it will help us to know what our strengths and weaknesses are. And the last, to face the global culture, we must establish our mindset. Open our mind and think with the different perspective. Use our mobile phone to reach many information. If we don't limit ourselves, we can develop ourselves really well. We have to be up to date with every development culture by accessing social media like Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to highlight that to face the global culture, we must prepare ourselves by being creative in recognizing our potential, being focused on our dreams in the future, and being adaptive with every situation. Once again, don't waste our time. Use every chances to do our best to be ready for the global culture. So, that's all from me. Thank you for your time and attention. Stay safe and stay healthy. See you again. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. The next participant will be delivered by student from LPBA Nurul Jadid, Rifan Syauqi. Give applause.
Good morning. Thank you for the warm welcome. Wise men everyone state, to merely observe your culture without contributing to, it seems you just close to existing as a ghost. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, globalization that drives many cultures and lifestyle transformations is now really welcomed by everyone. It sensibly fits the bad emotional feedback of our society against local wisdom. The losing of traditional game, the poor social interactions, even the change of our behavioral lifestyle are the forward of these orientations because of modern culture presence. Wow, it's such a terrible matter we have. If you can bring back people of 1990s and let them see the current side of these nations, we will probably sense the disappointment to know our generations are over-obsessing the K-pop lifestyle all alongside, dancing the Western crazy rate, even wearing the West culture by pride. And my question is, do we find it interesting? Surely not. Their culture is not wrong. The revolution of globalization is not wrong. Even the world changing is not anyway wrong. But we are wrong. We are too much consumed by our selfishness to forget our culture and choose to beat up the Westernizations. So with that, we have to work at belonging. We have to realize that the single thing every one of us in this room has in common is culture. To keep a culture is to keep us. To save a culture is thanks to us. So, let's take stance to always appreciate our culture before and after everything else, as well as to bring culture to my speech with due respect, entitled Culture and the Drive of Globalizations. Respectable judges and audiences. Intrinsically, as almost all of you may probably know that modern culture is a culture driven by globalization through technology. Meanwhile, youth is identical with young, smart, aggressive, even creative who has a big role to guard in these two languages, in which the popular culture is ongoing our together norm into verse. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a typical cultural misunderstanding in a very basic of human interactions is when everybody feels a distance of the same culture in the same nations. They find the idea that when culture has no longer sense to unite people, it means the culture is less preserved. Okay, let's take the open example on traditional game. 71% of young people stand today with digital game rather than traditional game based on Association of Indonesian Internet Service Provider. The impact, ladies and gentlemen, every day our traditional games are going into massive extinctions. And they all die just by the moment. Another particular aspect, such wearing short outfit affect our behavior. Oftentimes we see the obsessive offense will instantly do everything. The tendency of lifestyle transformations creates pragmatic, narrow-mindedness, hedonism, even conservative character for youth. This is divinely expressing disrespectful to the suffering of people who dream to live a life that we are living right now. And how to deal with this problem? Listen to this. If you can change the lens, not only you can change the way your brain perceives behavior, but you can change the way people falling back to the culture. Okay, let me state that again. If you can change the lens, not only you can change the way your brain perceives behavior, but you can change the way people falling back to the culture. By means, everything depends on where we introduce and make people relate with our culture. If we are not able to find out how this culture is communicated to others, we will spend years believing that nobody will care of it. So, audience, in this case, socialization should take bigger part in more organized manner. Because logically, if we don't know the greatness of our culture, how do we bring back the pride of our generations? Thus, I will go as far as to say that creative generation like us is actually the solution to inspire movement. The young digital influencers have to create something new in this digital environment. Take an example. Hide and seek, as a favorite game in the past, could be transformed and adapted into digital practice. Audience, you know Pokemon Go? Yeah, that's still related with hide and seek. Can be the model for young people to make our game be more flexible. Another hand, we can assimilate the traditional culture with modern culture, such the Wonderland Indonesia created by Alfie Rev. The collaboration of electronic dance music and Japanese instrument make it to be genius innovations that can encourage bigger societies to know our culture exactly. Furthermore, share it into all social media is either valuable because every single second of our everyday life is globally connected with other generations. Now, I'm going in fact to imagine we take that level of connectivity to relive our traditional culture in a better way. And I believe that right there is the powerhouse of change. So guys, it's never too late while there is a chance to trust. Yes, I am serious. We have to do big push to this one. Well, respectable judges and audiences, after all, we have wonderful scenario in the backstage of this drama. Let's stop to always complain politicians to make difference. We must be independently adjust with environment. Start in such way. We have most personal power to impatience. Rewrite more responsibility history of what has happened for a long time and have to be brought back again by the end. Meanwhile, all generations can give internalization about culture value for young people to make our culture be better than before. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, to sum up, culture in our core part of community have to be respected as always. So dude, I want the culture to be continuously belong and fully accepted. Everyone needs to play instead of influence, new appreciations, responsibility, and unique sensibility. So that we can one day help our children see our culture. I believe they will one day embrace it. They will one day wear it by pride. So now is the day we just need to start. In the name of culture and nation generations, we must always will to always keep twice in our lifetimes, now and forever. I raise my case. Okay, thank you so much everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother. Okay, and the next participant will be delivered by student from SMK Shiva Kalipari. The name is Nur Muslimah. Give applause.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Indonesia. What do you think when I say about Indonesia? Indonesia is a culture that has a very rich of ethnics and island. And especially, Indonesia is a country that has a very rich of culture. From Sabang to Merauke, Indonesia has entirely different culture. There are 1,000 cultures that exist in our country. The honorable judges and respectable audiences. First of all, let's pray to God Almighty who has given grace and blessing to all of us so that we can gather in this place. I say many thanks for the opportunity who has been given to me to deliver a speech entitled Indonesian Culture in Globalized World. First, I will explain about the meaning of a culture. Do you know the meaning of culture? Culture means life method which grow up on the society area which share generation to generation. Culture also is identified from the country. As we know, Indonesia is a nation who has culturally rich. Ladies and gentlemen, our culture are so unique, interesting, and so beautiful. One of the culture product is angklung. Angklung is well known as multitonal music instrument from Java. Even angklung has been inaugurated by UNESCO as World Heritage that must be preserved. The popularity of angklung has spread widely abroad. Even the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, has made it as his icon. Wow, it's amazing! And other product is angklung. Angklung is well known as multi-tonal music instrument from West Java. Nowadays, angklung is not as antique thing again, but angklung as a traditional music instrument from Indonesia is known in international world. Because on November 2010, angklung also has been inaugurated by UNESCO as World Intangible Heritage, so that angklung cannot be seized or stolen by other countries. And again, do you know gamelan? Nowadays, gamelan has been go international and has become subject of lessons in some school and developed countries in the world. For example, in Singapore, gamelan has been teaching media at various universities. Ladies and gentlemen, along with the development of time, a passion for preserving culture is fading. Why? Because of the advancement of science and technology. The impact of globalization, like awareness, there is no love for our nation, and now the era of globalization. In fact, globalization has influenced aspects of life, including its influence on the culture of a region. Without realizing, many teenagers as future generation are prefers the culture of other nation. They are made more now the culture of other nation, like Bollywood movie, modern dance, punk, K-pop, and so on. They start to proud whenever they know about foreign culture, and they forgot Indonesian traditional music, traditional dance, traditional fashion style, and traditional attitude, one by one and step by step. Ladies and gentlemen, in fact, we as Indonesian people, we as the owner of that culture, even don't care and almost abandon it. As we know, gamelan, which is well known as an original culture from Indonesia, has been claimed by neighborhood Malaysia. Reok Ponorogo, which is the culture from Indonesia, also has been claimed by Malaysia. How sick I am, how sad I am to hear that Indonesian culture has been claimed by other countries. A lot of our culture have been claimed by other nation. If you just keep being quiet, if you just keep being ignorant, I am sure that all of Indonesian culture will be claimed by other nation. Therefore, we as Indonesian future generation must be aware of our culture, because it symbolizes the characteristic and uniqueness of our country that makes it known by other country. Don't let our beautiful culture stolen by other nation. Let's gather to preserve, appreciate, and care about Indonesian culture. Well, my friends, that's all my speech. If I have many mistakes, please forgive me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Nur Muslimah.
Wow, great.
Kanam,
Oh iya kak, ada apa kak?
saya mau tanya nih.
Ya,
Aku ini kan sibuk ya.
sibuk. Ya, ya.
Saya bingung, saya tuh pengen ngajari adik saya. Tapi saya nggak punya waktu. Kira-kira Kak Anam punya rekomendasi nggak buat saya?
Oh jangan khawatir Kak Nisrin. Karena sekarang itu ada yang namanya kursusan. Ada kursusan yang bernama Indigo. Tahu Indigo?
Enggak, itu
Nah.
di mana ya?
Nah, Indigo itu adalah kursusan yang terletak di Sepanjang. Tahu Sepanjang nggak?
Di sana kan?
Oh ya,
Iya, di sana.
Oh di sana. Iya di sana. Indigo itu, gitu loh. Jadi kalau kamu repot, ya adik kau taruh di sana aja lah.
Taruh
taruh di sana aja, taruh di sana aja, biar gampang-gampang kau tidak ngajarkan adik kau, gitu-gitu. Di situ itu juga lengkap, mulai ada kursusan SMP dan juga SMA, ada SMK, ada madrasah alia juga ada, bahkan SD itu loh.
Oh
MI.
ada ya?
Ada
Ternyata
juga
lengkap
di situ.
sekali di sana ya. Boleh deh habis
Lengkap
ini.
banget pokoknya di situ, wis pokoknya jos gitu. Dan matkul pelajarnya itu apa aja? Oke, lanjut aja deh Kak, biar
Oke, kita
cepat
lanjut
selesai
aja nih ya.
Ya.
Oke, the next participant will be delivered by student from SMAN 1 Bantur. The name is Siti Maimuna. Give applause.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable judges, respect the audience and everyone here today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. I'm Siti Maimuna from Senior High School 1 Bantur. I would like to ask your attention to deliver my speech on the theme of social media and internet as a things to development our growth. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain, amma ba'd. First of all, I like to thank the Almighty God. It's because of him we are all able to attend this event. Secondly, may salawat and salam always be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad, who had brought us from the darkness to this bright modern era that we live in today. And last but not least, I like to thank the judges for giving me this very special opportunity to complete this event. The COVID-19 pandemic is a global phenomenon that affects all people in the world, starting from activities that must be limited to lockdown policies. We as students also feel the impact in the world of education. Schools should be closed and learning done at home online. But as a result of this condition, we as students are getting to know the social media and internet for learning media. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how social media and internet affect my growth development as a student? I used to be clueless literate about technology in the world of social media and internet at that time. I only know that social media and internet as a medium of long distance communication. But as a result of this pandemic, which requires students to use social media and internet as learning materials, I am more familiar about internet world. For about 2 years, I have learned from internet world. For me, social media and the internet have taken me one step further to reach my goals. I can find all the learning resources needed and important information about education world. I use social media and internet have not only as a medium of learning, but also as a medium for business activity. For example, I sell perfumes, bags, and some other teenage needs. Until now, I'm still developing the online sales. This is a clear proof that social media and internet affect my growth development as a student. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the information I got from this Kominfo Bengkulu, there are benefits of social media and internet for students, one of which is learning and networking. Students can take class from a learning website and discuss their doubts using social media channels. For example, NPTEL, Udemy, YouTube, etc. Students can take advantage of the live videos that are part of many social networking sites to engage in class. Students can share course material through the social networking sites such as Facebook, Instagram, and even WhatsApp. Ladies and gentlemen, social media and the internet as the development of our student growth, of course, have not only a positive impact, but also negative impact that arise. For example, students become lazy. Excessive in using social media and the internet will make students lazy to interact or communicate in the real world. For this reason, there must be a supervisor and a wise attitude to use social media and the internet, because I have felt for myself that social media and the internet are very influential to development of my growth. Millennials must be wise in using social media and the internet. That's all for me. Thanks for the attention, and sorry if I made mistake during my speech. I'll end it. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah, waridho wal inayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was so great. Okay, and the next speaker will be delivered by the student from SMK Az-Zahrul Ulum 1. The name is Rahmawati. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahilladzi la na'budu wa la nasta'inu illa iyyah. Salatan tu'arifuna biha iyyah. Amma ba'du. Excellency, the committee and all the juries of this contest, the contestant and everyone who are very happy today. First of all, we praise to the Almighty Allah for His abundant favor that we are always in good condition. Secondly, peace and mercy must be given to our Prophet Muhammad SAW, who has taken us out from the darkness to the brightness through the Islamic religion. Thirdly, thank you very much to the committee who has given me the time to express what is in my mind. Ladies and gentlemen, in this occasion, I would like to talk about being creative teenager in facing globalization era. We often hear it. Globalization is the process of transformation of local or regional phenomena. This process is a combination of economic, technological, socio-cultural, and political forces. In other words, every country in this world can influence other countries. Because of globalization, this world, which consists many challenges, Ladies and gentlemen, in this occasion, I would like to talk about being creative teenager in facing global culture. Global means universal, in which everything, including culture and trade, goes into and out of the countries in the world easily and freely without any complicated process. As the teenagers, we have to be educated and strong, confident teenager in facing globalization era. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said in the Holy Quran, said in the Surah Luqman, the 33rd verse, A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Fala taghurrannakumul hayatud dunya wa la yaghurrannakum billahil gharur. Let not the life in the world beguile you, not let the deceiver beguile you in regard to Allah. From the verse above, we have to be educated and strong, confident teenager in facing globalization era. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, nowadays our world is in globalization era. We often hear it. Globalization, this process of transformation of local or regional phenomena. This process is a combination of economic,
technological, socio-cultural, and political forces. In other words, every country in this world can influence other countries. Because of globalization, this world, which consists of many countries, is like a global village. This term refers to the fact that people are considered to live in this planet without borders, without limitation. People are able to access many kinds of information easily. There is no difficulty to communicate. There is no barrier to interact with other people from all over the world. Ikhwani rahimakumullah. Globalization has various aspects which affect the world, such as in industry, finance, economy, technology, and socio-cultural. If our country wants to survive in this globalization, has Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah.
Great, really good. Thank you so much, Rahmawati. Wow, the voice is really great, guys. Okay. Wah, guys, gak terasa sudah selesai, guys. Dan ini sangat apa?
Sangat-sangat luar biasa
Luar biasa
sekali.
banget. Give
Masya
applause.
Allah. Give applause.
Bagi peserta habis ini istirahat dulu sampai nanti storytellingnya selesai. Lah habis itu nanti kembali lagi ke sini untuk penutupan dan pengumuman permenangan apa?
Iya, pengumuman pemenang lomba.
Oh iya, pemenang lomba, jadi gitu kan.
Mungkin sambil menunggu Kanam bisa ke bawah untuk konsultasi kecantikan nih di My Anala yang ada di bawah.
Oke. Dan saya ucapkan selamat bagi yang menang dan yang belum menang. Ya jangan berkecil hati, itu sudah biasa. Karena kita udah tampil itu, berani tampil udah luar biasa banget guys gitu. Okay. Thank you so much to the committee, to the judges, and to the audiences whom I love, yeah. And I'm so sorry. We are so sorry if we have so many mistakes to you to say something maybe. Thank you so much for your nice attention. In the last I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perhatian untuk semua peserta speech competition. Setelah ini adalah proses penjurian, jadi kalian bisa istirahat terlebih dahulu sambil menunggu hasil dari penilaian. Kalian bisa menukarkan